Welcome, Angry Faithful. Today, we're going to talk about time travel on What the Hell.
And just because I'm wearing a Harvard shirt doesn't mean I'm going to get fucking wicked smart and drop some stupid fucking revelations on you about the idiosyncrasies of fucking time travel on you, because that's just not going to happen. Let's face it. I'm as stupid as David is on this whole thing. And, you know, we get our knowledge of time travel from the Science Channel and movies.
Mostly
and
movies.
To quote Paul Rudd, you mean Back to the Future was full of shit? So, you know, I mean,
well, there's so many theories on if time travel was actually real, and what would it be like? I mean,
see, I think for time travel, if we were to invent time travel, it would have to be so regulated and so governed, because if the technology fell into the wrong hands, A, we'd never know it, but B, our reality could drastically shift.
Well, look at, I mean, there's several movies. I mean, the last one I watched, because I'm a time travel freak. I just love the time travel thought. But I watched Looper.
No shit. Yeah, I just watched that the other day too.
You too, huh?
I enjoyed that movie.
It's still a really good movie.
And that the main character did not look like Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
No.
It didn't. I'm like, the fuck? Did he put on some serious weight?
No. They CGI'd his face.
Why?
To make him look a little bit more like Bruce Willis, a younger Bruce Willis. That was the whole reason.
Okay, but you know, that one scene when Bruce Willis is like living out his life as an assassin, right? Did you get that whole Fifth Element vibe when he had the thinning hair? He looks over his shoulder and he's got that extreme comb over and it's all bald down the middle.
No, not Fifth Element, because
I had the Gary Oldman Fifth Element vibe thing going on there. Like all I could see was the bad guy from the Fifth Element.
Oh, okay, yeah, the Gary Oldman bad guy, yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
I was like, huh. And you halfway expect Chris Tucker to come out. Look at your mind.
But no, because another movie that every once in a while I'll get like pop-ups from on YouTube when I'm watching YouTube. Like I got Time Cop. Time Cop's another one.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
There was
because they had the theory in that one that you couldn't occupy the same space, and that's how the villain died. Melded into oblivion. God, Deja Vu is another one that's pretty good too.
There's
with
a movie.
Denzel Washington. Which one? My Science Project was another one I looked into too.
Yeah, My Science Project. That's classic 80s stuff, man. Though, The Time Traveler's Wife. That was a good movie. You know, even though it was like a romantic, sappy movie, that was actually pretty good. You know, I mean, I like Eric Bana, and you know, I'm sort of kind of like a fan of Rachel McAdams, but I thought it was actually kind of a cool movie. I know you haven't seen it yet, so I'm not going to spoil it, but give it a shot. Just give it a shot.
It's been a while.
So you've seen it then?
No, I haven't seen it.
Then just give it a shot. Just give it a shot. There was a movie, I'm trying to find the name of it, where oxygen was kind of not a thing on Earth. Everybody was basically living underground.
Spaceballs?
No. Not Spaceballs, jackass. We're talking about time travel.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so they get this message from the future, and so they along with these instructions to build a portal or a wormhole, so to speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they get one specific guy to go through the wormhole because this is the message that they got. from the future. Like, send this guy. I can't even remember the character's name. It's an Australian movie. I saw it on Amazon Prime. Trying to remember.
Oh,
IMDb is no help when you're trying to figure out a movie title without the name.
2067.
Let me double check that one. No, come on.
Yeah,
2067.
2067.
Yeah. Okay, so the premise of this movie is this. Let me get here. Yeah, the character's name is Richard White. Or no, is it Richard White or Ethan White? Who?
It just came out.
Okay,
recently,
Richard
too.
White was. Oh, okay. Richard White was the dad. Dad was the scientist, right? His son Ethan. This message they get from the future says send Ethan White. So this guy and his friend, they grew up together. The character's name is Jude Mathers. They go to the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ethan finds his own body with a bullet hole in the head, sitting outside this sealed complex door. And so it kind of like it becomes sort of a quantum time space continuum whodunit kind of a situation. And it had a really cool ending. So I mean, it not necessarily time travel in the sense that we're going back and screwing stuff up. It's just that he's using the one-way trip to the future that he had as a way to fix the past and save the planet and save humanity as a whole in general, right?
Yeah.
And it was a really good movie. If you get a chance, check it out. 2067. It's on Amazon. Oh, actually, it's on Hulu. So yeah, watch it on Hulu. It's streaming on Hulu right now. So yeah, there's that. But it's a really good movie. Like I said, it was it's an Australian movie. And for the most part, man, the stuff that they produce out of before they lock the whole damn country down because they're a bunch of fucking communists now. The stuff that they were producing and putting out from Australia, actually, the writing on it wasn't that bad. And it actually kind of had that kind of a cult classic kind of a feel to it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's special effects and the caliber of actors. Well, no, that's not fair. Let me not bag on the acting, but just with the special effects and the production value. I mean, you could obviously tell that these are like B movies,
Well, that's the reason why people are getting upset with Cowboy Bebop, because the way they act in the movie and the TV show and everything.
Mhm.
I'm like, and I watched it fully and everything. I was like, and I just remember, because it was one anime that I actually got into,
Mhm.
and it's literally like watching the cartoon but live action.
Yeah, I mean, they were true to some of the majority of the source material on that, but it just kind of had that whole like new adventures feel to it.
Yeah. Well, there's a
You saw a
big
lot. You saw
difference.
a lot of you saw a lot more backstory on Spike Spiegel.
Yeah.
And that I appreciated that aspect of it. And my chief complaint is that they introduced Faye Valentine way too early. I mean, she was in the first episode of the live action. I mean,
Yeah.
she wasn't in the anime until like the 5th or 6th episode. I mean, hell, they had Ian the dog on there before they had Faye.
Mm.
because Ian was like there. He was that was the second or third episode.
Yeah, it was the third episode.
Yeah, and Faye didn't come on until like 2 episodes later.
I think it was a little bit longer than that because they did some because it was that one episode where he's trying to get a gift for his daughter.
Oh, Jet was, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it might have been, but you know, with the way that they wrote that anime, I mean, it worked. I mean, when they brought Faye in, she became part of the crew. Well, she started taking up residence on the Cowboy Bebop, and then it wasn't until like a couple of episodes after that that she really became part of the crew, where Jet and Spike really kind of started to try to trust her a little bit.
Yeah.
Because she knew that she was on her last legs, and then like if she got kicked off the Bebop, she was done because the Syndicate was going to come after her, you know.
Yeah.
So, but another anime that I really enjoyed back in the day was back when Adult Swim was Adult Swim. You didn't have these live action shows and these Squidbillies. Just the ignorant shit that they're just putting out nowadays. I mean,
oh, come on, you gotta love Squidbillies though.
No, dude. When I see Squidbillies, I'm like,
or Mealtime.
Do what?
What is it? Mealtime?
Epic Mealtime?
Epic? No, not Epic Mealtime. The Shake.
Oh, Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Aqua Teen.
I mean but that's one of the old school Adult Swim cartoons, right? Back when they had C Lab 2021 or 20, yeah, you know. So, but I mean, they had like their Friday nights was their anime night, right?
Yeah,
and they showed Trigun with Vash the Stampede. You know, the $20 billion man. Yeah, dude, that was a great show. I actually at one point had gone out. This is before streaming became like a regular thing. I had gone out of my way and I found a Japanese import with English dubbing for the entirety of both Cowboy Bebop and Trigun. Well, unfortunately, those copies never survived my divorce. So, you know, and I'm not saying that any one individual is responsible for them not surviving that ordeal, but it'd have been cool to have that, because I mean, I had the Cowboy Bebop set that I got from Japan. I paid like $30 for it, which I still thought was like a heck of a deal, because any of the Cowboy Bebop box sets that you see here stateside are going to run you anywhere from $60 to $120, depending on what the content was in it, right?
Yeah.
This was straight. It had both Japanese and American subtitles, and it also had Japanese and English dubbing. So, and it was just it had a pretty good extensive settings menu. But yeah, I mean, that was such a great, and I even had the movie that took place between sessions 21 and 22.
Yeah.
So the movie was actually really cool too, you know, but yeah, and then Netflix goes and does what Netflix does, and you show that they, you know, that generated a lot of buzz. They went and canceled it. So Cowboy Bebop, the live action, canceled it after one season.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to see where the writers could have taken that storyline. You know, the Bebop sans, you know, sans Spike. Now, granted, yes, Spike did make up a majority of the personality on that ship.
Yeah.
But
and what's really sad is John Cho did a really good job.
Yeah, he did. He did an amazing job as Spike. And I'm glad that they, you know, I'm glad that they cast him as Spike. The guy that they had that played Jet, I thought did an amazing job.
They all did an amazing job. That's what's really sad about the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, the Bears are up 3-0 with 4:21 left in the first quarter over the Packers, but I suspect that that's not going to stay solid very long.
Man, I drank too much last night. I actually drank last night.
That's a you problem, bro.
Well, no, what's really sad is like as soon as I got back to Kurt's house, I was sober as hell. Of course, I ate like a lot of stuff.
Right. But
'Cause-
um
What about Star Trek time travel? I was only
oh, Star Trek
always,
for the voyage home.
yeah,
You know, the slingshot theory, right? Is that what you're talking
yeah,
about?
yeah, because they were trying to get,
The humpback whales to the 23rd century.
yeah, that was a weird one.
Well, I mean, I think that was Star Trek's attempt in the 80s and 90s to go woke. You know, I mean, it wasn't so much of a woke as in like pronouns and but it was just, hey, we need to be better stewards of our planet. And I'm not saying that we need to go all electric and all this other bullshit because obviously they're using some form of fossilized fuel in the future, um, or stuff that produces exhaust, i.e., impulse thrusters and venting
Antimatter.
plasma through their warp nacelles.
Yeah,
But
but it's space, so there's no exhaust.
I give a fuck. They were flying. They were flying. No, they were flying that bird of prey around in the atmosphere. So no, I don't want to hear that. Um, and somebody who I wouldn't say that I'm a full on trekker, but my dad used to play the role playing game, the RPG where they had the stars, they had the stars charts out, and you
Yeah,
had the pewter miniatures, and they would play scenarios out, and it would take hours, like sometimes days, to complete a campaign. Um, I had access to a lot of the tech manuals, a lot of the ships of the line, books, a lot of the engineering guides for the different starships and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, we're being written by fans and people like that, but uh, there was always one thing that always stuck out in my mind is that the number one rule was that you could not go to warp inside of an atmosphere. And
they did it a couple of times on TV shows.
right, but specifically in Star Trek 4, after they beamed the whales up and they came out of cloak and scared off that whaling ship,
Yeah,
they were above the clouds and the bird of prey went to warp within the Earth's atmosphere.
naughty, naughty.
I'm telling you, bro. And I'm just like, and it pisses me off as an adult that as a kid I knew that kind of stuff, which meant that I'm a bigger nerd than I let on when I was growing up.
Yeah,
And I'm like, Jesus, what the hell? But um so uh but yeah, no, the whole concept of the time travel, as far as now, I'm not going to get into Star Trek Discovery's version of time travel because I haven't sat down and watched Discovery yet. I did watch season 1 of Picard. I enjoyed the hell out of that show. That
is
was
this
so
is the
well
second
done.
season already out?
Not yet. It
Not yet.
doesn't come out till next year. But Q is supposed to be in season 2.
Yeah,
But season 1, if you have not watched it, man, I'm telling you, figure out a way to watch it because it is.
I've already watched it. It's actually really good.
It was right. It was so well done. I mean, they
Yeah,
had just enough of the nostalgia from the throwbacks from the Next Generation show. They had Seven of Nine, Jerry
she
Ryan
becomes the
coming in from
queen.
Voyager. Yeah, I mean, but it was just so well done. And then they finally closed the loop on Data.
Yeah,
They finally ended Data's story arc, and
which is really sad. I mean, that one could have gone like forever.
it could, but I mean, at that point, Brent Spiner, honestly, I think he was tired. He was tired of being known as Data. I mean, he's always going to be known as Data, but I mean, his likeness. I mean, he's going to come back into all these different series and everything like that, offering his likeness as a member of the Soong family.
Yeah,
So, I mean, which I think is funny because I think that that's kind of like an homage a little bit to um, the guy who did Back to the Future. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank
Doc
right
Brown
now.
or
No,
Christopher Lloyd,
the director.
Steven Spielberg.
No, good God. Now you're just guessing and you're looking stupid. All right, hold on. Robert Zemeckis. Thank you very much. Good God. Robert Zemeckis. Because you noticed, okay, like throughout the entirety of that trilogy, all three movies, right? All of the ancestors were played by the same people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Ma McFly, the mother, Lorraine, looked the same. Now granted, in Back to the Future 1 and 2, she's basically playing the same person. But in Back to the Future 3, when he went back to the Old West, Seamus McFly's wife was Leah Thompson. So I think that was really kind of an homage, a little bit, so to speak. Having people of the same lineage look exactly the same throughout the years. I think that I mean, I don't know. To me, that might be a little bit of an overreach, but I think it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So I mean, if that's not the reality, then to quote Adam Savage, I reject your reality and I replace it with my own.
Well, it's the whole thing about time travelers now that have to be real. Well, these people are immortals, like those people that look like there's a side by side between Keanu Reeves and another person.
Yeah, there's another one with Nick Cage.
Yeah, and not Robert Power. No, it was Robert Patterson, but it was also Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh, Daniel Radcliffe. Yeah. You see these pictures, and I don't know if they're doctored or not. I don't know. No, I don't necessarily care, but like you see these old photos from like the dawn of photography, right?
Yeah.
You see these random people in the background with shit in their hands that shouldn't be there. Like somebody, it looked like somebody was talking on a cell phone.
Well, there was one at a Mike Tyson fight, like in '95, and they were doing like a digital camera. I had a guy, he's like, "Oh, dude, look, time travel's real. This is a digital camera. They didn't have them back then." I was like, "No, I remember that digital camera. I think I used that in school." And I showed him the stuff. He's like, "Well, that's not real." I was like, it's legitimately real. You can still buy this, and it's like,
yeah, you're just being a tool.
92. Yeah, you're just being a tool.
You're so blinded by your own tinfoil mentality that you can't accept evidence.
Yeah,
that's being, but it's that's why I think it's funny. Like, with these people with their conspiracy theories, I mean, they get so wrapped up in them.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you hear yourself? I mean, do you really hear yourself? Because you're coming off a lot. I mean, you sound like somebody who needs to ride the short bus to school.
Or get a tinfoil hat.
And well, no, that's not fair, because that's disparaging of our mentally handicapped, people. But I mean, it just sounds like somebody who needs to have a mic, a psyche eval. I mean, really, it does. Because at that point, at what point do conspiracy theories become a hindrance more than they become an aid?
When they become law.
That's not what I meant. You know it. I'm talking about the behavioral patterns that they create. The level of paranoia that somebody develops because of these conspiracy theories, especially ones that are so far-fetched, like JFK Jr. still being alive. Are you kidding me? Come on. Yes, I know that we never physically saw a body. Is he alive somewhere? I don't care. If he is, fucking come on out, bro. But if he's not, just let the guy let the guy rest.
Well, no, you could put on the stuff that actually becomes some of the stupid shit that actually becomes law. That's it's conspiracy theory,
right? I guess I'm not communicating it properly here.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Okay, so yes, you what I'm trying to say is that when you get so wrapped up in this, that you develop a level of paranoia that borders on schizophrenic.
Yeah, like the movie Conspiracy.
Yeah. With
Or
you're talking about the one
Conspiracy
with
Theory with Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson and Julia Roberts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, where his entire apartment was lined
that was
with
probably
aluminum foil and what was it? Phosphorus.
yeah, that was the worst movie for conspiracy theories or conspiracy theorists because they're like, well, it could be true now. That kind of horrible thing, you know?
Yeah. Hold on, I'm looking at something here. All right. I got to look at something here because I saw a commercial for something. It's one of these Hallmark-esque.
Which one? There's like 100 of them. What was another there? Oh, Time Bandits. The map.
Oh, okay. See, you know who that guy on Facebook, TikTok, a combat veteran, Drew Hernandez?
Yeah.
Okay. I saw a commercial for this movie that's on CBS right now, called A Christmas Proposal. And on one of the on the promo that they ran, I shit you not, the love interest, the main character, looked like him.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, bro. I mean, props. You got into a movie, but bro.
Well, there's a Vine guy. He does a lot of comedy now. He's in a movie. He's in a couple of movies, comedies. So
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, as far as time travel, okay, so another time travel movie that we might be talking about, Interstellar, right?
yeah,
But we're talking about like actual applied quantum physics with
because
the
they use
closer
the
you get
black
to
hole.
a event horizon, time begins to slow down because the fabric of space and time start to compress and rip. And they're like with Christopher Nolan's visual representation of a black hole and the event horizon turned out to be spot on.
Really?
So there was some science fiction that was written for that movie that turned out to be actual science fact.
I think Stanley. I think Christopher Nolan is our generation of Stanley Kubrick.
I want to be careful with that label. Stanley Kubrick was, because he died last year, right? 2020 or 2019.
That's a good question.
Yeah, no, he died. Damn, he died in 99.
Yeah,
That ain't right.
Yeah,
that's not right.
Yeah, he died in 99.
That would mean that the last movie he ever did. Okay, so the last movie he did ever do was Eyes Wide Shut. Oh God. Can you imagine going out as that being your swan song? Jesus, that was a horrible movie.
Yeah, he died in 99.
I don't know why I thought it was later than that. Maybe it was because I remember reading something. Some of the actors that he worked with were talking about how much of a genius he was. But like 2001, A Clockwork Orange. I mean, those were just absolute masterpieces. I mean, they were your. Oh wow, the Bears are up 10-0. Are you serious? Wow. Okay.
I don't know. I think a lot of his movie, and this is just my opinion and everything like that. Clockwork Orange couldn't stand the movie.
Oh no, I mean, it, I'm not saying that I
And he
enjoyed
only did
Clockwork Orange.
16 movies.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying I enjoyed Clockwork Orange at all. I found it personally rather hard to watch,
He
but
did Spartacus, which is actually a pretty good one.
yeah,
2001 Space Odyssey couldn't stand. Like The Shining,
really,
couldn't
really.
stand it. I couldn't freaking stand it. I like The Shining and I like Full Metal Jacket.
So, fun fact about
Those are the only two
2001.
movies.
Okay, the original Arthur C. Clarke book before they
Mhm.
came out with the motion picture adaptation, the Discovery was going to make a trip to Saturn, but in order for it to make to work in the movie, Stanley Kubrick convinced Arthur C. Clarke to change it to Jupiter because making a trip to Jupiter and all of its moons seemed more plausible than a trip to Saturn.
Yeah.
So it was originally Saturn that the monolith was in orbit around, but Stanley Kubrick felt that the mystique around Europa at the time was a more plausible of a sell to movie executives and the general viewing public than it would have been any of Saturn's moons. So
Yeah. Well, you also
and Arthur C. Clarke apparently agreed because based on the success of the movie, that enabled Arthur C. Clarke to finish out the anthology of the Odyssey saga, and he wrote 2010, 2061, and 3001. And I've read all 4 books, and they were really, really good.
never read those.
Yeah, they should be pretty cheap, pretty easy to find on things like Amazon or something like that. I would tell you that I'd lend you my copies, but I have absolutely no idea where those went.
I still can't find. Well, I like you. I ended up moving everywhere. I get a. I was like there's this book my dad loaned me. It's Wyatt Earp, the true story of Wyatt Earp. I looked on it online for paperbacks, $100.
John Wayne knew Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
He was his intern when Wyatt Earp was a consultant at the movie lot. And John Wayne used to get him his coffee.
That's funny right there. It's kind of weird, the little things that nobody knows about,
right?
Like the whole Rob Zombie being a PA for Pee-wee's Playhouse. That's
yeah.
then you look
everybody
back,
forgets that Lawrence Fishburne was the cowboy.
yes. I mean, there's a lot of stars in that show that like
they literally
that
they
brought
got
up
their
his
start
career.
there.
Yeah.
So we've got Spider-Man coming up this weekend. Season 2 of The Witcher comes out the same day. The Matrix
that won't be out until next week. It comes
no,
out
I
on
know.
Christmas
I was
Day.
going to say it comes out on the 22nd.
Yeah.
Sees the third and final season of Lost in Space, the reboot that Netflix
That's
did.
already out right now.
Yeah, it's already out. I started to watch it. I'm gonna finish it up probably this week or this weekend. Just, I mean, I really liked what they did with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was well written, and I think that just Netflix, they just don't want to sink the money into it because I mean, it's a very CG dependent show.
Well, it's not that is they're trying to cut a lot of their costs because they are in a major debt. They're
Well,
in the
that's
hole
because
a lot.
they get big superstars like The Rock, who based on the Screen Actors Guild's rules, once you become an A-list actor, your minimum salary is enough to break a picture.
Yeah.
And that was one of the biggest reasons why Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth both have been having a very hard time getting re-signed to finish out the Kelvin timeline Star Trek movies.
Yeah.
Because the idea for the fourth movie was to remerge the timelines.
Oh, that would be fucking awesome.
Right. But I mean, the only surviving crew members of the original series now are Nichelle Nichols, William Shatner, and George Takei. And George Takei absolutely refuses to work with Bill Shatner because George Takei is, and so I'm sure people out there are aware, George Takei is an ultra liberal, and he's gotten so liberal to the point where being gay is his identity. Being a gay Japanese American is his identity, and he assumes this huge victim mentality that it just oozes. And if anybody speaks out against what he believes to be true or tries to disprove any of the left's talking points, he uses the full weight and force of his social media presence to just spam that person out of existence as far as like digitally is concerned. He's always called Bill Shatner a racist. He's called him an he's called him a homophobe. I mean, he's had nothing but bad things to say about Bill Shatner. And I'm just like, if you look at what Bill Shatner's, at least his online persona and, stories that you hear from like the Star Trek conventions and stuff like that, Bill Shatner, dude, I mean, the guy is 90 something years old and he doesn't even look it.
Yeah.
And it's because, dude, he's out there living like a kid and he just doesn't give a shit. I mean, he's very blunt, very plain spoken. I mean, he blocks normal people every day on Twitter. And it's hilarious because like he'll sit there and quote their tweet and then he'll put them on blast by saying, it's like, well, you can have, have fun with that, going through life. But as for me, you're now blocked. And then he'll tweet that, and I'm just like, it's not that he's tweeting or blocking people because he doesn't want to have those conversations. It's just, why bother why consume energy talking with ignorant people? Because when you look at somebody and you can tell that they're so wrapped up in their ideology that they claim to be open-minded, but they became so open-minded that their fucking brain fell out and now there's nothing there except a vacuum. And just like a real black hole, the closer anything gets to that event horizon, you start to experience spaghettification, where you start getting strung out by your individual atoms and you're never seen or heard from again.
Yeah, that's what Evan Hafer and Mike Glover and Andy Stumpf were talking about when they were all getting that one I sent you that I wanted you to listen to.
Yeah, I listened to most of it.
Did that? I think it was like midway because they wanted to talk about Black Rifle Coffee dealing with like the cancel culture or woke shit and all kinds of other stuff. Because
I'm just waiting on their stock market stuff to finally take off, because that
the
Silverbox Engaged merger company, the SBEA.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, it's so up and down.
Well, it's the holidays.
I get that, but you would think, I mean, unless you just got a lot of these vets and these law enforcement people out there that are like, oh, well, it's not making what I think it should make. Like, dude, they haven't even announced the IPO yet. I mean, they've announced it, but they're not going public yet.
Yeah. Most of the stores opening up, it won't be until next year either.
So, yes, I mean,
we had that problem this last weekend.
Yes,
we went down to Plano. Yeah, we went down to Plano last weekend, hoping to see a grand opening of Black Rifle Coffee. And even Evan said this: he's going to try to go to every grand opening just to see the customers that he delivers coffee to.
Yeah, so there we are. My car, my two boys are sitting in the back seat. David's sitting in the passenger seat, and we're heading down to Plano. We get there, we're like, yeah, well, I know this. The GPS didn't send us on a wild goose chase. We're in the right place because we could see the marquee sign out by the side, out on the access road.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is,
building's not even finished.
The whole building, the entire building is still under construction. and was just like, fuck. So, I mean, and the only way that you knew about it was because you saw a story that was being reported by the local news, right?
No, it was Chris.
Really?
Jaka. Yeah, he posted it, and I took the snapshot of it, and it said December 4th. And because I had to try to find the address where it was going to be at. So I looked at that, and I looked at the news article. News article said at this location, December 4th. So I had all the data saying, and by the way, do you know it's not pronounced data, it's pronounced data?
I said data because that's the name of
No,
the
no, 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 no.
character.
The whole reason why it's said it that way is because of Patrick Stewart, and everybody uses that pronunciation nowadays. But anyways, little tidbit of knowledge there.
That was Ice Age squirrel worthy right there, bro.
I know, right? But no, everything said it was gonna be December 4th. That's when it was opening up. So
it's now 10-7. Chicago is 6:02 left in the second quarter.
But
I think we only missed 2 picks this weekend.
Really?
Yeah. Cleveland did beat Baltimore today, but their Baltimore's quarterback got hurt. So that's what I'm chalking that up as. And San Francisco did end up beating the Bengals, but not by much. I mean, they took them overtime to do it. Of course, the Bills gave me a scare because they almost beat the Buccaneers, but there's that. Anyways,
I think we can call it up on this one. I mean, a little tidbit nowadays. I don't know how many podcast group things that we're on right now, because I went through the list and everything.
Oh yes, you get to make the announcement that
we're on Google Podcast now. We're still on Apple Podcast. We're still on Spotify. I think we're in we have a bunch of other podcast things that we're on, but I'm not really sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way that Anchor does it, sometimes it just puts it out there on other podcasts. You still get the sponsor money and everything like that for every click or every view and everything like that. And I actually think we're actually being heard around the world.
That's crazy.
We have Netherlands, we have
well, here's
Australia.
The thing. If we're being heard on a global scale, I want some of our international listeners to reach out to us. Even if you're just checking in to say, hey, Norway here, or Yugoslavia, or the Slav Republic here. I don't care where it is that you're from. Just sound off and tell us where you're from. Introduce yourself. And the most unique, outlandish location, we'll figure out some swag to send out to you. It may not necessarily be Angry Me branded. It might be the jar of Skittles sitting on my desk. I don't know, but
that would be weird. But it would be like us.
So for the digital drawing tablet that I'm not supposed to know about, that Santa is bringing to me for Christmas, I'm going to be able to start working up some graphics, and we'll start coming up with some artwork and everything like that. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the idea of the Bob Ross Bob Ross coffee mug.
The bad touch.
Yeah, the bad touch Ross. Yeah, bad touch Ross coffee mug. Like when you tip up the coffee mug underneath, it's like he's mooning you, and there you see a starfish.
Yeah,
that'd be funny.
Yeah. I wonder how if we get in trouble for the likeness, but I'm not really.
No, because I'm going to change a couple of things, and I think that I'll change enough to where we can get around that. So
It would only be a problem when we actually start making money, and then we just go, okay, here you go. Because usually people don't sue like the small people unless they're like douchebags like Microsoft.
we'll even change the name instead of Bad Touch Ross. We'll go with the Bad
No, we
Touch
can just
Caucasian.
no, we can do Bad Touch Ross.
Yeah, I mean the only thing that's going to
We
be
can't use
anything
Bob
close.
Ross.
Yeah, the only thing that's going to be close is going to be the fro.
Yeah.
But past that, I don't know. I'll change up a couple of things.
Dude, Bob Ross hated that fro though. And it became a stigma.
And none of his paintings sold for shit until your stereotypical artist story. I mean, his paintings got really, really valuable. The ones that he painted for the show.
Yeah.
They were taking up space in his house. And after he passed away, people started clamoring, like, where are these artwork pieces of art that he made? And they started selling for tens of thousands of dollars, and merchandising rights alone and syndication from streaming. His grandkids don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
And it's funny though, I mean, because it's like he literally just started a public access show as a way to show people that, hey, there's a way to release stress out there.
Yeah.
And
well, that's a lot of
I mean, and if you look,
John
Burke,
yeah,
he does his paint like a liberal, paint like a feminist, and he does his John Ross impression.
Yeah.
He puts on that fro wig and he's got the big open collar shirt and he's like, so today we're gonna learn how to paint like a feminist. We're gonna take a little vaginal pink and snowflake white over here, and then just a touch, just a touch of Pelosi red, and we're gonna make up some color here, and we're gonna take our spatch knife and we're gonna drag that down, and oh, look at that. Oh, that's not supposed to be there, but there's no such thing as mistakes, just angry little liberals. Just like, and he does it so well.
And he sells these paintings for like $3,000.
Yeah, and he does. And to be honest, yeah, okay, so I don't want to get into a whole lot of detail about John Burke or anything like that, because I mean, I don't know the guy personally, but I know enough about some of the behind the scenes stuff. He has dealt with a lot, and he's really put in the time and the effort to really kind of make himself, because he owns Shell Shock CBD. He owns a business where he hand makes tankards. I forget the name of his tankard business. But tankards is basically just like a beer stein.
Oh, okay.
He makes them by hand out of like cedar or oak or mesquite or whatever it is. And some of them he like electrocutes it, so where like the electricity burns a pattern into it.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful. And one of these days when I get a hankering, I'm gonna like break down and just order one. But like whenever he mails stuff out, like he'll get requests like, hey, draw a dick on my package, and he's like, you fuckers are weird. And he'll draw a dick. I mean, the dude's a grunt, right? Mm-hmm. He was in 327 just like I was, but he was 1st Battalion, I was 2nd Battalion. Of course, 2nd Battalion being better than everybody else, and we know it. We have to let people like John have their little day in the sun when they talk about Bastogne above the rest. It's like, fine, whatever. 1st Battalion doesn't necessarily mean that you're number one. So, and so I mean, it like, and I'm really proud to be able to wear that same title of veteran as he, just like he does. Because I mean, he really, he took what was basically kind of like at the time, a fledgling platform, and I'm talking about social media just in general, and he really turned it into something. And yeah, he had to fight the haters, and especially a lot of veterans too. They were calling him bro vet. They were calling, like, oh, hey, I'm just going to sit in my truck like John Burke and I'm going to yell at the camera and I'm going to get, I'm going to get famous. And that wasn't the case. I mean, that wasn't that wasn't the formula that that he abided by. Um, but it's, it's still nice to see. Yeah, he tries to be real. He tries to be transparent. Um, I mean, I don't agree with him 100% on everything, but I mean, if you say that you agree with somebody 100% on things, I mean, all their points of view, let's just call a spade a spade. You're lying, because
Yeah.
there's no way. So, but you know, I think the really, like, people like John Burke, Evan Hafer, the guys from Black Rifle, the guys that do the Cleared Hots, the Drinking Bros, the veteran community just in general. I think that they really kind of opened up the doors to enable people like you and I to do this podcast. And it's given us, I know, for at the very least, it's given me an outlet, you know, even though, and I'm being completely honest here, there are a lot of days where I'm just like, bro, I don't want to fucking do this right now, but I do it anyway, because I know, hey, one, I committed to doing this, and two, I know that if I don't, all I'm going to do is just sit around and sulk, and that's not going to do me any good, and it's not going to do anybody around me any good.
And you're
So
actually a lot happier than you were when you started, because we, like, before we even got on, you're like sulking and everything like that, your whole world. Now you're a little bit more upbeat.
well, and that's primarily due to developments in my personal life, as I'm, as everybody knows,
Yeah.
I'm engaged now, and we're coming up on, 7 months, 7.5 months until I get married,
Yeah.
you know, and so, and then I'm looking at relocating to the south of the state, and 10 miles from the coast, and starting a brand new chapter. And it's yeah, it's going to make in-person recording sessions a little bit awkward unless you decide to come down there and visit. Then I'll be like, okay, hey, let me go in here and set up this extra microphone.
Yeah.
But
Which I got extra microphones. I could probably just hand you
yeah, just bring
one
your
of
shit
those.
with you,
Yeah.
but um and even then we could like head down to the beach and just do an episode down there. We're just kicking it in fucking, shorts, flip-flops, and a crazy ass fishing shirt, or Hawaiian, or your Hawaiian shirt, but
Yeah.
but it's yeah, I'm a happier person, and a lot of it is because of my fiance. So, and her family, and this whole world that I'm getting to step into. And so, I mean, are things perfect by any stretch of the imagination? Absolutely not. I mean, everybody's got their own problems. Everybody's got their stressors and things like that. But you know, yeah, I mean, from where I was when we started, when I started on this journey with you, yeah, I'm in a better mood. I'm just better overall, better minded. And a lot of that, yes, while I do attribute my fiance being solely responsible for that, um, I say, for the most part, and I'm being very legitimate with it. It's kind of and it's not kind of, it's getting back on a walk with God. And I'm not going to get too terribly theological here, but we do our devotionals every night. We pray on a nightly basis. And we've made that the foundation of our relationship. And I think that has really helped as far as my spiritual growth is concerned, and my outlook on the world. Because, yeah, while I may not be physically going to an actual brick and mortar church every Sunday, I do spend that time to do what I feel is necessary, what I'm feeling that I'm being called to do, which is being that spiritual leader in my relationship.
Oh, mentioning churches, I finally figured out what that Joel Osteen thing was.
What's that?
They found $60,000 in the wall while they were fixing the plumbing. That was
Of
the
his
whole
house?
of the church.
Really?
It was cash and checks. Because I was wondering, it's like the plumber with the gold and everything like that. And I was like, what the fuck is this joke? Why is this a joke? And I started looking. I couldn't find anything. I think the media had like hid it and everything, but it was the Drinking Bros on fake news finally gave it up. I was like, oh, that's what happened.
Wow.
Holy crap. Could you imagine? And what's admirable about these
I love how that meme mutated, because I saw one today. It says, what I'm going to tell my kids is to why they're not going to college. And the guy pulls up the sheetrock and the insulation. And there's a bunch of tool ammo. There's a bunch of ammo boxes stuck in the walls.
But yeah, $60,000. Could you? And I give it up. I give props to the plumbing. The plumbers is they went out and told the cops. They were like, this amount of money, no, someone died for it or something shit like that. Because it was also in check forms and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sorry, anything over $10,000, you're not getting that back. I'm sorry. It's going to go into an evidence room somewhere, and then it's going to get donated, or it's going to get applied to some budgetary shortfall. You're not getting that shit back. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's putting a really bad light on organized churches. And I really haven't been anywhere near like organization with like teams and everything. I'm too much like Batman. I'll be a timer and I'll help y'all guys out every once in a while. But
right.
I can't, devote my whole life, because I know I have other obligations that I'm probably going to have. And if I miss out on those, I just feel bad. If I miss out on something I should have helped somebody out with, I just get so depressed. It really sucks.
Yeah. It's funny. I just asked Mindy if her ears were burning, because she texted me just as we were talking about her. She's like, I love you. And I was like,
we're not live, are we, Dave?
And are your ears burning? And she goes, LOL, why? She's telling me that her and her sister just got done watching another episode, or the new episode of Yellowstone.
Oh.
I said, I was talking about you on the show. And she goes, what about? And I said, I told her that you had said that I've been happier lately, and definitely happier than I was at the beginning of my time on the show.
Yeah.
I'll get into it with her here in a little bit. I'm going to call her, but because I've got to get some laundry done, get my clothes ready for work. And oh wow, it is now 17-14 Bears, 3:21 in the first half left.
Go Bears.
We had the Packers pick to win, so we need the Pack to win.
I didn't say anything on this one. I was going for the Bears.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
No, you
I was going for it. You told me to shut up.
You know what? Then all right, then you know what? And then from between now and the end of the season, or to the end until the Super Bowl, put out your own set of picks, and then we're gonna have like a head-to-head. Who's got the better picks? Who's got the better record?
It's like
you want to sit there and be like, I was just going for the Bears, even if it was in secret and you didn't sound off like you got a pair. Go ahead, put your money where your mouth is, and put your own picks up. And at the end of the season, we're going to see who's got the better record.
So popcorn. Trying to change the subject. See.
Okay.
See what I'm trying to do there?
See, because if you were going to start talking about wagering, I'm going to be like, well, we're not going to do anything stupid.
I've already did it. Already did.
I'm not going to sell my fucking soul by wearing a Yankees jersey on the damn show.
I would never do that.
I will renege on a bet if that is the condition that I have to.
No. I would never do that, because I've already talked to. We were talking about something. And me and Kenny, I was like, yeah, Johnny is really funny, because you get anything Yankee affiliated and he will fucking try to kill you. So.
And let me guess. He was like, well, we need to figure out a way to like do that. Right? Is that what he's saying?
No.
Formulating ways to get under my skin. Is that what it is?
No. We were just
Good.
Talking it up.
Good. Because I would hate to perpetrate some white on white crime. That's all I'm saying.
All right. I
I
guess
do
that's
not
a good.
advocate violence. Do not mistake my humor and my desire to be more diplomatic as a sign of weakness, because I do remember what it's like to be violent. I really do. In fact, I ordered a new yard sign for a yard sign for the new house down there, and I had it's printed on metal. It's got the reflective surface, I think, like a legitimate road sign does, right? It's got the 101st Airborne Division patch at the top of it, and it says, "This property is protected by United States Army 101st Airborne Division veteran who has a lack of patience, negotiating skills, and is an absolute nightmare in a gunfight. If you don't belong here, leave. Deadly force is authorized." And that's going to get bolted to a stake, and it's going to get stuck right in the flower bed, prominently next to the front door. Not to mention the fact that there will be a ring security system set up, not only at the front door, but we're going to have like that whole thing where it's got like the door openings and stuff like that, the window, or not the windows, but like the doors. And they're going to have cameras inside the house that when the, people are, I know that the ring notifications are going to go through the roof, because, we're going to be actively walking in and out of the house and crap like that, and walking through the house. But I'm going to have that whole house set up along with like LED lights and shit, that if somebody enters the house and they're not supposed to be there, all I have to do is just tell if I say her name right now, she's going to wake up. So all I got to do is tell my devices for my Amazon enabled devices, intruder protocol, go, and I will find a dummy Claymore and I will strap it to the top of a Roomba, and that Roomba will go straight to the door, and their lights will all go red, so that way it doesn't affect my night vision. And I'm not going to do something cliche. I'm not going to have Papa Roach playing. Not going to do that. Or what is it?
Drowning Pool.
Yeah, I'm not going to have that. No, I'm going to find some
1970s
R&B soul, love
no.
you.
You can have the Drowning Pool, but you get it from Dawn of the Dead, whereas the elevator music style.
No.
It was The Sickness.
I'm gonna find.
Get down with
it's going to be something so. Like I'll find Chicago, like You're the Inspiration. Okay. And it's gonna be playing on every speaker in the house, right? You'll hear Peter Cetera, just blaring at you. And when that Roomba stops, they're gonna be like, "What the fuck is this?" And they're gonna look up, and they're gonna see me standing there, if they're lucky, in my boxer shorts, aiming a laser at them. And I'm going to be that guy that I'm going to build an AR just for home defense. And I'm going to put on the bottom rail a bike horn. Can you imagine that? The last thing before you get smoked is a.
That would be fucking hilarious.
Dude, that would be epic, right?
Yeah.
That'd be so fucking great. It'd be like, pow.
Like, what was that? That was, oh my god.
Or I'll record something. It'll be like, can I get a yeah?
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine the last thing before you get yeeted into the afterlife is a bike horn? Like, you imagine telling that story.
No, could you imagine explaining that shit? What happened to you? I heard a bike
horn. You get up
that
there and like,
and then just everything went black.
Right. St. Peter's like, bike horn, huh? Like, right? What is that all about? Like, I get asked if I can give him a yeah, and then I hear a bike horn, and next thing I know, I'm talking to you. The fuck?
Oh, I think I've actually talked to one of our listeners this weekend.
Oh, really?
They kept on flipping me off, and I was wondering why they were flipping me off. And I was like, oh,
you're getting the angry salute out in the wild.
Yeah,
nice. Okay.
I was like, oh yeah.
Did we get a name?
God, no, I can't remember. He was actually on the podcast. He was the roofer. They gave it like $1,000 to the organization.
Oh,
the Vet Fest.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? There you go. Double barrel action right there. Look at that. Look, now you got quad barrel 50s going. Boom, 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 boom. So there you go.
But I guess we can end the episode on that note.
Yeah. God. And wait a minute. Hold on. Because let me see something here. We're still sitting at 60 subscribers on YouTube.
That's still good.
Yeah, but that just means we're sustaining. We're not growing.
Well, like I said, I think we're.
I mean, personally, I have a grower, not a shower. So, I mean, come on now. We need to grow. Pump those numbers up. These are rookie numbers, bro.
If you look at those numbers, compare the numbers that are on the podcast and everything, it's totally different.
Yeah, I mean, granted, yeah, we have a bigger following. You know, we got more interaction on the audio side,
and even a lot of the other ones right now for YouTube, because they're shadow banning a lot of people. There's a lot of mixed numbers and everything. I mean, look at our growth compared to the podcast. I mean, we're sitting at like 99.
YouTube needs to quit fucking off.
Hey,
get woke, you go broke. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, it's just getting to that point to where they're trying to. I mean, we can't even say Schmoly fans.
Schmoly fans, God.
I mean, you can't even say it during a whole episode. They
right.
Shadow ban.
I mean, what if we wanted to start our own OnlyFriends account?
I know.
Right.
Which we wouldn't do the sexual stuff.
No, I mean, we would be posting like links to buy the Angry Me calendar.
Yeah.
And it would be like, it's a crapshoot. Every calendar is going to be different. You don't know if you're going to see my starfish in January or if you're going to see a kitten in December. You don't know.
So fucking hilarious.
And it's not my actual chocolate starfish either. I mean,
it might actually be a starfish.
It might actually be a starfish. Like I'll be sitting there going, and you got to stare at that shit all fucking month.
Yeah.
So
we got to do that. We'll make a fucked up calendar.
Yeah, we do. We need to figure out a way to do that. That'd be hilarious. Like January, Mr. January is Johnny's starfish, and there people are gonna be like, and you know how like most calendars you can look on the back and it's got like what the different months are gonna look like.
Yeah.
No, we will give them just a written description.
No picture.
January,
just written.
Johnny's starfish.
November,
like March, David's porpoise or something like that.
November,
you get like a stuffed dolphin, and you're like,
no, November would be both of us in our birthday suit.
So our Sunday best.
Yeah.
Totally. That's gotta happen. Oh, that's totally gonna happen.
Oh man, we gotta.
You know what the fucked up part is that like what we would have to get a photographer.
No, we wouldn't.
Yeah, we would. No, we would have to, or at least get somebody to operate the camera, because,
dude, look at all the wedding photos I showed you.
Right. No, right. I get all that, but if you're going to be in the pictures too.
Oh yeah, we just get Kai to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's actually really good.
Fine, but it would be like it would be a very heterosexual boudoir shoot.
Yeah. I mean,
be kind of confusing.
85% of our listeners are women anyway, so
Right.
it really
Like,
it's not like it was like, oh, I don't want to do this. What if
no,
guys
wait,
look
check it
at
out. February is going to be the Angry Me fire hoses. And then all we have to do is just go down to one of the firehouses and slap an Angry Me sticker on one of the nozzles.
No, let's do something. Well,
all right. We'll talk about it off camera.
I'm trying to, yeah, we have to do
We'll
this
talk about
all
it off camera because if we sit there and come up all these ideas,
yeah,
in the
we're
episode that
gonna
you're
be
put on,
because I still got to
people are gonna be
edit and
like-
put it up for tonight
yeah. So
or tomorrow morning.
yeah, right.
But
So, but
anyways, I'm David Dickerman,
I'm Johnny Skelton.
and thank you for watching Angry Faithful.
Wait, hold on.
Victory!
Woohoo!